talk about Iron Mike, preparing for his fight. But we got a whole bunch of other shit to get to. So I don't know how you feeling.
I'm with that. What'd you have on? What'd you have us on sports? Oh, let's do Iron
It's
Mike.
it was just Iron Mike. That was it.
Oh, okay,
Um,
yeah.
We might as well touch
um,
on him and then go.
while we're here, yeah. So he's back, and he looks
Looking good,
it looks incredible. Like
I'm so scared for Roy Jones.
bro. I'm always scared for Roy Jones because I hear him when he talks. Like, bro,
Exactly.
he's a
that
commentator,
part,
bro. He seems like he didn't got hit in his head way too many times, bro. You gonna go in the ring with
part,
Mike?
yeah. It ain't gonna be pretty. Like Roy, and I think Roy's leaning on the fact that he's continued to fight. Whereas I'm going, Mike been chilling, smoking weed, kicking it, getting his mind right, doing ayahuasca. Mike in a whole other place. And them type of people that was already dangerous, Mike could probably kill somebody right now and make you go, oh, that makes sense, Mike. just because
Yeah,
how at peace he is right now. He's
yeah, that's all
complete.
right.
And that person, I think for a lot of people, it goes, that person's less dangerous. No, I think this version of Mike Tyson, because of
Bro,
his
what do you
mind
mean?
control, is way more dangerous than
And
the
then
old Mike.
they're trying to float that narrative around that Mike is doing this because he needed some money. Nah, my nigga, Mike, it ain't that Mike needs some money, bro.
Yeah.
That don't get you to the level of working out he's been doing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you don't do that for no bag.
And if people have been listening to like the Hot Box, his podcast has become one of my favorite ones. And then whenever he makes an appearance on somebody else's, Mike is speaking on some shit I'm totally in tune with. So I'm like hella engaged, like on the edge of my seat whenever he's talking. If anybody's been listening for the past few years, Mike ain't pressed for no bread. His marijuana shit is booming. He's got business endeavors where he good. So like the fact that his mind is right, he's healthy, and he ain't tripping off no money, man, please.
That's
That's the
why I'm
part.
saying it's scary. Mike is at his dangerous right now. And that's
Yeah,
because he's at peace, but he can live in the darkness. Any
facts.
person that can do that, I'm terrified for it.
I'm
Yeah.
at I'm at peace, but living in the dark and thriving in the dark and not afraid of
Uh,
his demons at all.
Yeah.
bro, be completely aware of them. You know what I mean? But like it is cool just to hear Mike talk about fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just sit down and listen to Mike talk about fighting,
Mm-hmm.
and like the type of headspace he's in, and like it's kind of like the feeling that comes over you when when you get back to this type of working out. You know what I mean?
I
Like that.
gotta, I just thought about something, G, because the
What's up?
way when you listen to Mike talk about fighting, I thought the same thing too. Like the references that he'll make. Mike will go back to like the 40s about fighters that he's fans of and like film that he studied and shit like that. And he lights up
Oh,
at it.
he's a historian. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and
they
he go ahead.
he wasn't just like muscle bound, crazy, whoop your ass. Like the scary part about Mike was that he was an actual fighter that
Yeah.
was when he had his trainer, they
Mm-hmm.
were able to tap into a mindset that was scary for the
Technically
opponent.
sound. Yeah.
Technically sound,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a bulldog, just like the look that you receive, bro. Like it's different, man. It's different. So this,
So what I just thought about, I literally just had this thought as you were talking about that, and then Lex brought up the whole peace thing. When you and what's the word? Like fuck with me for a moment. Just follow me where I'm going. It's gonna be a wild ass comparison, but it's how it'll make sense. Michael's known as the most dangerous man on the planet. Like I don't even think we can even quite put into words what his celebrity and what the aura of Mike Tyson was at his height. Um, I don't think we could do it, but it was that high because of his work ethic and his talent. Well, you can argue which one was, but his work ethic, and it would have to be.
mhm.
Um, but to essentially have that, I don't know if taken away is the right word, but to have to completely figure out a whole new pathway. And he said it. He was like, "Yo," before he started working out, he's like, "Yo, I don't work out. because I don't want to unlock that part of my ego again that was so attached to
Mm-hmm.
being the best.
Mm-hmm.
I part of me wants to imagine, G, you understood exactly what he was talking about.
But completely. He,
Okay,
he was he
okay,
was
I'm
speaking
not crazy.
he was speaking some shit I know way too well.
So for the listeners and the people who might not understand what that, because I knew what he meant, but the fucked up part is, I think I, not even for me, because I have my own demons with that, but the level you reached and how much of your identity to others is wrapped up in your talent, not you. Like, you may not be wrapped up in it. Like, I don't. Mike may have had his moments, but it's more so how everybody else is looking at you that you got to kind of find and reconfigure.
Mm-hmm.
What can you talk? Can you speak to that? Because I
Definitely.
really wanted to unpack that, but and not let it walk. But there's a certain way to ask it. I hope I asked it right.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I think it comes down to uh, what what what's your driving force and what connects you and how you can get lost into that.
Hmm.
Because what happens is that you become so good at something specifically and you spend so much time on it
Hmm.
that you don't even know what your driving force is anymore. You just know that you're doing it really, really well at a very high level.
Man.
But if you're not able to disconnect from what you do at a high level from just when you're not doing it, then
Hmm.
that's where it becomes very dangerous because what happens when the floor gets pulled from underneath and like the people that you associate yourself with as well.
Hmm.
So like you have mentors or just like people that are in your life that's completely connected to
Your talent.
your talent and driving you towards this direction, you know what I'm saying? But once you realize that, oh shit, like I'm kind of operating off of a level of anger, you know what I mean, and a level, and my association with it is driven off of some shit that I haven't had a chance to deal with.
Hmm.
But when you go down a road of starting to deal with it and trying to unpack it and unravel it and start peeling off the layers of it, you start learning so many more things about yourself that drives you to a peaceful state
Hmm.
because you know what happens if you riled it back up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? If you riled it back up, there's no way for. And then because what happens is once you peel those layers off, and you start seeing people for who they are,
Hmm.
you kind of go into a shell yourself, and you look at everybody that way. Like fuck, like I can't trust a soul. You know what I mean? So as you're in that space, it's like fuck. So now I got to kind of rebuild or put together this foundation all over again without the connections of individuals towards a talent.
Yeah.
Let me look at this thing a little bit differently. When you do that, you know how much you can ravel it up, and when you can get back to that point,
Hmm.
now you're disassociated from anybody that can like drive you to it. You know what I mean? So now once you have your own control over it, it's scary for not only yourself but for everybody around you because there isn't anybody that can hold you. You know what I mean? And I think that's a lot of what Mike was talking about was that now that he didn't, I'm thinking always go back to when he lost his trainer. I forgot the name of the trainer's name or whatever.
Customato.
Yeah, Customato. So I always go back to that because when he had Customato, Customato knew how to channel that energy that he saw within him.
Mm-hmm.
Mike hadn't had an opportunity to get to the bottom of what his demons were at that point. He just knew that I'm gonna take a nigga's head off
Yeah.
when I put that force behind something.
Yeah.
And he just put that in the direction. But
Yeah.
he lost him, and that shit was just open. It was just fair game.
Fair game.
And you
And
know
it's
what? What's
Go
up?
ahead, Lex.
oh, I was gonna say, and it's crazy that he admitted that dude used to hypnotize him before every fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to think, where did he put him at when he hypnotized him? Like, what dark place did he put him at so that when he would come out to the ring, the only thing he knows is
It's
just,
kill. It's kill.
yeah.
Nah, man. He's a fascinating dude. Um, Especially considering where he came from, and I think whenever I hear him talk about dealing with dealing with, because like Mike, it's funny when you love something so much, but it's attached to so much pain and trauma, and the close
It's killing you at the exact same time.
exactly. And so the one point of reference of that for me is UG. So I when you just
Bro,
reminded
the more I played, the more I was dying, bro. I had zero clue about it. I had zero clue, and I didn't realize that until I broke my back and I had to actually sit with my shit.
you could
Because like if I'd have never done that, I don't know who that individual, if that individual would still be around. I have no clue.
yeah. And that's and so and I don't know how much of that is a mental health thing, a black mental health thing, but it feels similar, like high performance ability to perform that high. It's a real delicate dance and balance with your demons. And so this now we can talk about Ye for real.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about no fucking presidency or no sneakers, man. I don't want to talk. Niggas kill me with that shit. Um,
I love how people act like getting sneakers hot is just like the easiest thing in the world too.
yeah,
Like they
yeah.
just are like,
That,
oh, and Ye do sneakers, so why you gonna listen to the nigga with them do sneakers? Like
come
my
on.
nigga, like any nigga could just
Move.
jump out here and do
I'm
sneakers.
telling you, this moving of the goalpost shit is it only happened to us. But the black mental health discussion. Um,
Mm.
I don't know. Um,
Ye
shout
is
out
a
mama.
perfect example.
Shout out Mama Mona. She called me this week and she was like, yo, you the only person I can talk to about this shit. And I just, because we hadn't done the show, I hadn't talked about it either. But the mental health connection is unique. And shout out to Kim for her post she wrote. Because
Yeah, yeah,
she
that was
spoke
big.
to what Kim was speaking to in that post is something a lot of people, if you haven't dealt with it firsthand, somebody with a mental illness or and has been diagnosed too. So I'm not just talking like they haven't been diagnosed. I'm talking about living with somebody with an illness that has been diagnosed. Um, it changes your perspective on this shit. I know for me, before living with someone who I admire, who I look up to, who I revere, who I love, prior to I got to be 100% honest with y'all. I had the least amount of sympathy for black mental health
Mm,
um, illness,
mm,
and I don't say that shit proudly. I say that as somebody who had to be humbled and had to learn so fucking much in dealing with that, and how much it and how prevalent, how rampant it is, how under discussed it is, and then how neglected it is. And when I say neglected, I don't just mean ignored. I mean misdiagnosed, overly medicated, mismedicated. Like it's some sick shit.
ignored.
Ignore it all of that, and then add on to that the people that love you still having a deal, no matter what's going on. The people who love you still got to figure this shit out.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was a real human moment um, for the celebrities. And in the word, I just look at the words that people choose to use. And again, it's celebrity. Don't know these people at all. I know my experience stuff, and I know how specific it is. And so some of that language that Kim was using in her post hit home in a way that if you ain't never lived with it, if you've never been courtside, if you've never been in it, you could never fucking understand the type of um, how I don't even know what the word is. I use and I use delicate because of the danger the person is in, the danger the family is in, um, and the long lasting ramifications of just a minor episode. So we've gotten to see Ye have some public episodes, but the lasting effects of that shit is real. And so while we can move on to something else, it's real torment being had in that house, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's babies to consider.
Mm-hmm.
There's a husband and wife to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not as passive and as funny as niggas want to make it. and so then we can compound it. I'm sorry, I'm ranting so long, y'all, but
Oh no, you good.
then you compound it with my affinity for him as a creative. Literally, y'all, this is no exaggeration. I credit Kanye West with saving a whole generation of black men who didn't know how to fucking express themselves. Everything was like, dog. If there wasn't a Kanye, I can't believe I'm admitting this out loud, but it's the truth. If there wasn't a Kanye West, I would still be pursuing rap, but I promise y'all I'd be rapping about guns and drugs and killing people. Just because it's what you have to do until fucking yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This nigga got on stage and made a song about how much he loved his mama, yo. Like it opened up a whole void. So it's different. I get it as celebrity, but the affinity for him as a creative and what he did for black voices, specifically black men, is it makes it tough. It makes it really, really tough. And
I need symbolism for roses, man. That it wasn't a clean eye out.
Man,
listening to roses.
Man.
But yeah, that's for sure. I think another aspect of it too is that people can say what they want to say about the Kardashians, but they are a family. You know what I mean? Like regardless of like how people feel about how they've been exploited, or how much TV time or how much culture time they've taken up with their culture vultures, blah blah blah. Whatever you can feel about them as people, they are a family. And that's a part of it too. You know what I mean? That's a running trigger as well. If you do not have your family and you're constantly around a family that's tight knit and they're moving, that is a trigger as well. It's not like you can adopt me as a family member. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got mine, and I had a chance, and I had a chance to even heal from losing mine. Yeah. I just kept it pushing. I kept making this culture move forward, and y'all have gotten all the benefits of it, reaped all the benefits from it, and I'm over here torturing myself to constantly do more and more and more. Yeah. You know what I mean? And there's breaking points for that, man. So there's plenty of compassion from my end, and then also put a mental illness in it. Yeah, I'm sorry if you are Black, you have a level of PTSD.
G, that part, bro. Like, how do we have a conversation about that, my nigga? Like the fact that Black people still walking around going, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong with me." Yes, there is. I'm sorry to tell you, you inherited some shit. I don't care how wealthy you are. I don't care what class you identify with, what religion you identify with, bro. You carrying some trauma that don't even have shit to do with you.
Like straight up, like my dad, his younger brother passed away. And and since my brother passed away, I'm trying to talk to him just on a, hey Pops, how you doing? Yeah, how you doing? You good? And we don't have the best of relationship, but we do have a relationship. And when I ask him, his answer is like, well, people get old, people pass away.
Nigga, what? No, my nigga, hey, you know it's okay to be sad. Like your nigga's gone. Like your brother, your sister, that's your first best friend. Like it's okay to grieve that, but we don't even know it's safe to grieve that shit. So if that ain't a form of mental illness, my nigga, I don't know what to tell you then. Like seriously, you don't know it's okay to be sad for losing your first best friend,
bro.
Right. Like this nigga got off the phone with me. He was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna call you back," and I ain't heard from him.
But Lex, like you speaking to so many of our experiences with our fathers. I was about to tweet that shit this morning.
Man, I was about
to tweet that shit this morning and say, salute to our OGs for carrying so much of the trauma to allow me to even know that I can be free from all this shit and express outwardly.
Yeah, be able to see it firsthand.
Man, I like and I'm talking about my OGs specifically. Like that ain't no general shit, but it may as well be like OGs be harboring and bottling shit up for real.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
And so much of how they express, if they express, is attached to their masculinity.
man, man, dead ass,
Exactly.
dead ass. Them conversations to this day will always tail off to some version of the chase
Yeah.
of going into like hunt mode. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Um,
it's not going to get too far into us having the real conversations that are healthy. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And which is understandable, and also I can't really put too much in that basket, given how long people have been here.
Yeah.
Like you kind of factor that in too. Like you've been here for 50 something years, and now we're gonna start unpacking some shit. It'd be great to be able to do it right now,
Yeah.
but I also got to take into account that you got 50 something years of pain
Pain.
that you're trying to unpack. That I'm over
Yeah.
here talking for my 33-year-old self,
Yeah.
talking about like, hey,
It's
yeah,
a
like
walk in the park.
you know what I mean, like nigga, because I started unpacking it earlier on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, like for me to like try to even get that started. In the 50
My,
something year old body, it's a little,
but
you got to kind of bring that to the table. I know
my,
money got to do that experience.
but no, G, you hit on it. You hit on it exactly. Like, I want to be able to articulate exactly what you just said, though. It's not, and that was gonna be the other part of the tweet. It's like, you niggas that's out here going to therapy and working on yourselves, don't get it fucked up. Like, the reason we can do that is because they carried all that shit for 50, 60 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a, oh man, I'm trying to be better than you. It's like, no, my nigga, thank you. Now please allow me to help you. Like,
Bro, my pops
Exactly.
did not grow up with his pops. I grew up with a variation of a pops that did not grow up with his pops.
mm,
You know what I mean? Like I wasn't in my pops' household. You know what I mean? Like I just saw him every other weekend or whenever they could work it out between him and my mom. You know what I mean? So that was my childhood. So I just saw variations of that man. You know what I mean? So we got closer as we got older because we fucking spit out image of him. But it's growing up though, that was a disconnect. You know what I mean? Because I got it from the angle of very hardcore man. You know what I mean? Like you ain't showing no tears when you around me.
yeah,
You know what I mean? You'll suck that shit up, that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So that gave me a hard exterior for me to later on not know why the hell I got so much anger in me.
mm,
And my only outlet is, through this talent. You know what I mean? Like I had like no clue like why I got, what I mean? Where is that coming from? What I'm dealing with? You know what I mean? And that's because we didn't get a chance to have those conversations.
yeah,
But knowing more about him as I got older, it was like, oh shit, well shit, I have an option now to take what variations you blessed me with because at least you did not leave.
mm,
So I got that. I got those pieces to put together and make in whatever way I want to for me to then pass down to my seeds. You know what I mean? So
man,
that's kind of what the time continuum is about. You know what I mean? It's not that we need to have all, you got to give me all your puzzle pieces and leave yourself with
mm,
nothing. Nah, it's like you give me pieces and I'll make with them what I can, but
yeah,
then I for sure am going to utilize what I know from what unfortunately you haven't had the
you didn't,
opportunity to let to get, or to have, or
yeah,
even to unpack.
yeah,
And for me to use that moving forward, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like if we have a conversation about that later on, perfect. But I'm for sure gonna be having that with my seeds. You know
mm.
what I mean? That's an importance. That's an importance. That's how time moves on.
Yeah. And
G,
speaking on, oh, my
no,
bad,
go
my
ahead. No,
bad.
you got it, Lex. Go ahead. Go,
And,
go.
and speaking on what you're saying, L, for me, I'm learning stories from my mom about my dad. Cause see, my dad's 73. So he's
Mm,
holding even more shit.
yeah, that's
And
time.
then, yeah. And so from my mom telling me stuff that I never knew about my pops, now I get why my dad was like that with me. Cause see,
Mm,
his dad just skipped out, didn't hear from him, nothing. So
Hmm.
I feel like for him, when it came to us, he was like, I was there for some years. And then when I did leave, I at least called and checked on you guys. So I feel like I'm a better version than what my pops ever was.
yeah,
So for me being a father to my daughter now, I can only take the good and the bad from whatever my pops did leave me and just build upon that.
yeah,
And
Mm,
like, and I know that one of the biggest things for me was honestly, on some serious shit, wishing that I did have that father in my life. And the couple of reasons I wish that is, so one, because my oldest brother took on the role of the father. So
Yeah,
he never
yeah,
got to
that
be the
happens.
child.
Hmm.
So the aspects of even having more children and then making sure that I'm there so Sid would never have to, my daughter would never have to feel like she needs to be the adult to that younger sibling and
Yeah.
she could be
Hmm.
the friend and the
Yeah.
sibling.
Hmm.
So
That's real.
Lex, I'm telling y'all, we, bro, I don't even know how the hell we ended up here today, but